Hey, everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Kem Beil, founder of Beil Bookkeeping, where she provides small to medium-sized businesses with accurate financial reporting to support smart decision-making. With a hands-on, personalized approach, Kem helps business owners focus on their customers while she takes care of the numbers. How you doing today, Kem?
I'm great. Thank you for having me today, Anthony.
No, I was excited to have you on. I liked our conversation that we had a while ago. You're doing awesome things, and you're helping a lot of people. So there's people out there that definitely need to get to know you. So I wanted to help with that. So starting off, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
Tallahassee, Florida.
Okay, you been there forever, or are you newer to the area?
I've been here since college. I joke that Tallahassee is the black hole. You come here to go to Florida State University, and you kind of get sucked in. A lot of people come, and then they stay. So
What is it about it that makes you stay?
for a long time, I thought that I was going to leave, and I did for a while, but there's a lot to this community. It's a small community. Without the students, there's 3 colleges, but without the colleges, it's only about 190,000 people. So you still can go to the grocery store and see somebody you know and say, hey. And so it's got that small town feel, and I really like that. And it was a great place to raise my son.
Okay, awesome. Well, for people that have never been and they're coming in to visit, you have friends coming into town, what are you going to go do, and where are you going to go for dinner?
Well, a really cool thing is if you come during the week when it's open, you can go to the top of the Capitol, and there are windows around the top, kind of like at the top of the Washington Monument, and it gives you a visual of the city, and you can see everything that you're looking at. So it shows you the universities and different restaurants. But the best restaurant I would take people to is Beil Bookkeeping. It's locally owned. It's only open for 5 hours a day, and yet their Italian is amazing. But I would be remiss if I didn't take anybody to Florida State, considering I graduated there, and it's the reason I met my husband. We met because of Florida State baseball, and so we're big baseball fans. We're in the midst of the season right now, so it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. No, that's really cool. What can you tell us about Beil Bookkeeping?
Well, Beil Bookkeeping kind of came from my husband, actually. He really kind of pushed me to try to start it on my own. I've been doing accounting for over 20 years, and I love numbers because 2 plus 2 always equals 4. I'm not big in that gray area. I like for everything to match and everything to go in its place. So I decided to start this last year and went on to get certified in QuickBooks Online. It's considered a pro advisor. They've changed it now. It's level 1, but essentially you get certified to do bookkeeping and accounting for for me, it's small to medium sized businesses. I really love the idea of partnering with a business, not as an owner partner, but somebody who's just as vested in the business as they are. I want to make sure that they have really clean, accurate books so that at the end of the day, whether it's weekly or monthly, they get reports and they can decide the best decision to make for their business, whether that's expansion or raises or buying more inventory, depending on the type of business that they have. But I love that partnership that I feel with my clients.
Okay. Yeah, no, my next question is always what you love about what you do. So, you kind of hinted at that, but what about that really, sparks that passion in you, that partnership that you're creating?
My last boss told me I have a servant mentality, and I had never heard that before. But when I look back at my own experiences and the way that I treat other people, I definitely think that you should treat people the way you want to be treated. And I would hope that someone who went into business with me would take the care and concern that I want to with my clients to make sure that they have the most accurate information. In the intro, which I appreciate, you said that I want to take care of the numbers so that my clients can take care of their clients. And that's the case. A lot of people don't love numbers like I do. They don't care that 2 plus 2 equals 4. They want to know at the end of the day, how much money do I have to spend and what can I do with it? And so I want to be able to take that off their minds. I want to be able to take that off their plate so that they don't have to worry about that. And they know that they can just call Kem at Beil Bookkeeping, and she will make sure that they have the most accurate information so that they, again, make the best decisions for their business.
Yeah, I really like that because, depending on what you're really good at, if you're a really, really good plumber, you don't want to spend all your time bookkeeping. You should be out plumbing. That's your money-making activity.
Exactly.
And let an expert take care of the rest. Because here's the thing. Yeah, 2 plus 2 equals 4, but I don't want to have to do that.
Well, plumbing's not my forte either. And I'm going to call Paul, the plumber, when it's time for me to need somebody.
Exactly. It makes perfect sense. So what does your average client look like? Or what are the pain points that somebody might be facing that if they're going through X, Y, and Z, you're the person that they should be talking to?
Well, if we take Paul the plumber as an example, I would hate for him to sit there at the end of the week and spend 3 hours trying to balance his books and get everything allocated in the correct account when he could turn around and give the books to me and then take those same 3 hours and bill at probably a much higher rate and be able to turn more business over and then trust me to take care of those numbers for him. I know that numbers are not everybody's, they're not everybody's purview. Not everybody loves them. And I get that. But for me, I do. And I want to be able to take when someone, especially when they're growing, we have a lot of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs coming up, and that's wonderful. And when they get to the point where they're growing so much that they're spending more time trying to make sure their books are accurate than what really is needed, when they again can turn around and spend it on marketing or some other thing that really needs their attention, I want to be able to take that pain point away. I want to be a solution for my clients so that they can hand it off knowing full well that they can trust the numbers that I'm going to report to them monthly, weekly, quarterly, etc.
Absolutely. What about power partners? What are other professionals or industries out there that you synergize really well with, or you find a lot of ways to collaborate with?
Well, I think CPAs are a perfect fit for me because really at the end of the year, quarterly, depending on your state, and or annually, I'd like to be able to take the actual reports from my clients, wrap them up in a bow and hand them over to CPA so that they can easily do their taxes. Make it a little simpler for them versus, as some of my clients say, I have a box of receipts. Can I mail that to you? I was like, you can, but there's a lot simpler ways now with all the communication and electronics that we have. There's emailing receipts, etc. But I know that especially at tax time for a CPA, when you hand them a box of receipts, it's kind of like okay, let me get started on this. And throughout the year, if I can help keep that clean for an accountant, it's a lot easier for them. But also any small to medium sized business, as they grow, you're growing, everyone, as we're all trying to grow. And as they grow, I think that sometimes that's a hat that they need to release, the bookkeeping hat, so that they can have that time to be able to focus on building their business while taking someone like me who's certified. I can easily take that off their plate and hopefully save them a lot of money at the same time.
Absolutely. You work with business owners every day. You're a business owner yourself. What advice would you give to a new or aspiring entrepreneur?
Don't quit. Absolutely. It's hard. It's tough. Building your own business, I heard years ago, was the hardest thing that you could ever do, but it's absolutely worth it. And I think truly that when you get the connections that you really want and need, when you take that time and you build those relationships, those people will be invaluable to you. When you find somebody that you really trust, I know trusting somebody with your money is a really big deal, and it's nice to put a face to somebody who's you're going to be handing your dollars over to. But I think that when you build those relationships, the referrals, like the referrals you will get in the long run will be absolutely worth it. But the relationships you build will also be worth it. The personal relationships and the trust that you have. I personally, it took a long time, but the referral partners I have now are amazing. And, the referrals back and forth, the camaraderie that you have. It's also an accountability partner when you're growing and you're saying, oh, today was really tough. And, or this week was tough and I didn't get clients and I'm struggling, to be able to count on those other people to have your back and to help you when you're down, but at the same time also refer to you. But I think for me, it's CPAs and definitely other small to medium sized businesses that are growing and wanting to release that. I always say it's a hat, like you have your HR hat and you have your bookkeeping hat. But when it's time to get rid of the bookkeeping hat, I really would like to be a solution for my clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I love that, just don't quit mentality, because you're going to face some hard days, right? If you're starting something, it's going to start hard. It's going to have hard days along the way. But it's going to have the good ones. And if you're the right kind of crazy, it's going to work for you. So that's the best way to
It definitely takes a specific level of crazy for sure. Yeah.
It really
It's
does.
for people who do it, they're very, very brave. But I think that I've met along the way so many people that really have a lot of passion for what they do. When you really love what you do what you love. It's true. It's not work. And despite the fact that it's numbers and a lot of people hate them, I really love it. I love it at the end of the day when I can reconcile account, same as balancing your checkbook, and everything matches and everything is in its place for the clients that I serve.
Yeah, I always like to ask people, what are you passionate about and what do you love about it? And if somebody goes, I don't know, it pays the bills. I don't know why you would do entrepreneurship to yourself if you don't love it, right? Why are you putting yourself through that? You should probably go get a job, right? Or find something
Right.
else, because yeah, it's absolutely not worth it if you don't love it. But if you do, then there's nothing better. So,
Right. And when you
fantastic.
wake up every day, who wants to wake up every day going, oh, here we go again, right? And I literally had a job like that every single day for a year, I woke up wanting to call in, and it was miserable. And it had to do with accounting, but it didn't fill a need. And at the end of the day, I really love feeling that I have helped other people. I love being able to it's a report, it's got numbers on it, numbers that are fed into the system. But when I'm able to put it all together in a neat fashion so that someone can read it and know exactly where their business stands, that gives me satisfaction and makes me feel good to be able to serve my client that way.
Absolutely. So, how can accurate bookkeeping help small businesses make better financial decisions?
Well, if you don't know where your expenses and your income are, you're in trouble. A lot of people sometimes don't know if they're in the red or the black. And for those, if you're in profit or loss situation, I spoke to a woman yesterday, and she's been in the loss for 4 years, and she really needs her books cleaned. And I think that without having the accurate knowledge of exactly where all your monies are going, even at the end of the day, if you see that there's a profit, or you still have money in the bank, it doesn't mean that you know where all your dollars are going. So if you don't know what you're spending your money on, whether it's marketing, whether it's inventory, you don't know what's making you money back. And so I think that for businesses, knowing exactly where the dollars are going and where the money is, where they're making money and what's giving them the return on investment and ROI, that helps them turn around and make better decisions with the money that they are making and that they have for their future. Like I said, whether it's expansion or, hey, maybe they're giving their employees raises. But without knowing all of the individual accounts and where the money is coming from and going out, you don't know how to make better decisions for your business.
No, absolutely. If you know where you want to go, but you don't know where you're at, how are you going to get there, right?
Exactly.
When you go into Google Maps, it asks you two questions: destination and starting point. If you don't know where your starting point is, it's going to say try again, right?
Yeah.
Can't get to Tallahassee from Iowa if you don't know you're starting in Iowa. The
No.
directions are going to be different. So, absolutely.
Perfect.
How can business owners save time and reduce stress by outsourcing bookkeeping?
Well, truly, I think, when you're talking about a business owner, they're there to make money. And if you can outsource your bookkeeping for a nominal cost versus the hours that you spend trying to reconcile your accounts and get everything allocated in the correct area, then that's actually costing the business owner money. Thus, the solution that Beil Bookkeeping wants to be. I'd like to solve that issue. And if someone is spending 3 hours a week on their books, when they could hand it over to me and bill those 3 hours, or have marketing meetings or staff meetings, or encouraging their employees, they can better spend that time and then hand their books over to me for a nominal cost, or, I'm sure usually for less than it would be for them to use those hours for something else, whether it's billing, whether it's employees. There's a lot of other things that they can do. But usually when you're not a bookkeeper, it takes you a lot more time to do the same thing that it would take me. And so I want to help solve that issue for them. They can hand off that bookkeeping hat, and then they'll be able to refocus those same hours they were spending trying to reconcile their books on something that better suits their time.
Yep. More time working on your business and not in it. So makes perfect sense.
Exactly. You never have to stop. You never stop marketing.
Exactly. How can proper financial reporting improve cash flow and business growth?
Well, when you see exactly, so in general, I'm sure there's expenses and income. And when you have those proper reports, usually their P&L, profit and loss, and a balance sheet, you know exactly where your funds are coming in. Are they coming in? Are you getting returns on something? Excuse me. Or are you actually getting income from jobs that you're billing? Jobs and or products that you're selling. So you need to see. So if I'm selling 16 widgets and I'm making $8 a widget, that's fantastic. Sometimes you can add labor to that widget, depending on if it's a plumber. It could be, window people who install windows, but you don't see where your markup is and where your profit is until you actually see all of those reports. It's really, to me, it's a beautiful report when you see all your line items and your expenses and exactly what you're spending. I'm spending $18 a week on widgets, but I'm making $45 on widgets a week. So you can see that markup. You can see the clear delineation of profit for each individual product and or sale of actual service. You're changing tires, you're plumbing a house, etc. But those clean, clear line items on your reporting will actually show you where the money's going out and where the money's coming in. And maybe if you're not making a lot of money in one area, you refocus your marketing or you refocus your sales on that other area. So you're not making a whole lot of money selling the widgets, but you are making a lot of money installing the widgets. So let's install those widgets and make more money and refocus it so the company itself can be more profitable.
Absolutely. So, as with anything, it doesn't matter what you're doing. There's a million other people doing something similar or similar enough that it doesn't matter. So, why you? What sets you apart? Since there's a menu of options out there, why would people choose you?
That's an excellent question, and you're right. There are a ton of bookkeepers out there, and I hope them all the best. But I think that the fact that I'm become very, very close to my clients, and I do truly have that same invested love for what they're doing and for their success. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I really want to partner with them. I'm not going to be an owner partner, but I want them to know that I partner with them, that I'm holding their hand and I'm giving them every and anything that I can from a bookkeeping standpoint for them to be the most successful that they can be. That can be additional things. It can be just your generic, month to month reports. But I really want people to know that I love helping them and I want to partner with them for their success as much as for my own.
Really? And clearly you're passionate about it, and I know we can go down all the rabbit holes. But just in general, is there anything that I missed or that I failed to ask that you wanted to add?
No, I do. For the record, I do use QuickBooks Online, and I do give a free consultation to anybody who wants to reach out. So I'd be happy to look at your books. If you're not ready for a bookkeeper, that's okay. I would be happy to give some assistance and some direction, or maybe even look at spreadsheets and see how I can help, with allocation or maybe adding to their accounts so that it's easier for their accountant. But I'd love to be able to at least have a conversation to see where people are at. And if they need a bookkeeper, I can give them a free quote. And if not, I can at least help them with some directions so that they can hopefully better assist themselves with taxes and and if they have an accountant, with an accountant as well.
Perfect. For those that would like to have that direction or have that conversation, have that education.
We don't love it. We don't love the IRS and taxes, but
yeah. But for those
it's
folks,
a definitive we have to live with. So
it's death and taxes. Anyway, for those folks, where can they find you? How can they get a hold of you?
So my phone number is 850-445-8989. That is my work line. You can also reach me at www.beil, B-E-I-L, bookkeeping with 2 Ks.com, or you can email me at beilbk, that's BEILBK @yahoo.com, and I'll be happy to have a conversation with you.
Perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Kem, do it. Have that conversation. See if you need a bookkeeper. Learn a little bit. Make sure that you're doing the right things, or your options. There's all sorts of stuff there that you can do it. You could go learn all this stuff, and it's going to take away from all the other stuff that you probably should be doing.
Right.
So reach out and have that conversation. I'm going to put all of that in the show notes, so it's super easy to find. Just reach out. Give her a call. She's the exact same personality and a one-to-one as she is here, so don't be nervous or afraid. But other than that, if anybody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Kem. If you or somebody would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on our website. But Kem, I really appreciate you coming on and just kind of sharing your passion and what you're doing. You're helping a lot of folks, and you're helping them, spend more time working on their business and in their business, which is huge. More of us need to have more of that, because that's our money-making activities, right? If I'm spending my time doing my books, it's better allocated elsewhere, right? So I really appreciate what you're doing. Let's all go out, have an awesome day, and grow our circles, all right?
Thank you for having me, Anthony. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.